The Psychology of Money. Part 2, Common Biases, the Traps We Fall Into. Episode 7, The Discounted Sweater, the Power of the First Price. Welcome back, English language learners. Leo was walking through the market in Cali with his friend, Mateo. The market was full of colorful sights and sounds, vendors selling fruit, people chatting and laughing, and music playing from a nearby stall. Leo loved the energy of the market, but sometimes it was easy to spend too much money. "Look at this sweater, Mateo," Leo said, stopping in front of a clothing stall. He held up a bright blue sweater with a large tag attached. It says it was originally 100,000 pesos, but now it's only 40,000 pesos. That's a great deal. Mateo looked at the sweater and then at the tag. 40,000 pesos is still a lot for a sweater, Leo. Are you sure it's worth it? Leo shrugged. But it was 100,000 pesos. Think about how much money I'm saving. It's a really good value. Mateo wasn't convinced. He touched the fabric of the sweater. It feels a bit thin. I'm not sure about the quality. Maybe we should look at other stalls. But Leo was already imagining himself wearing the sweater. He liked the color, and the discount was too good to pass up. "I'm going to buy it," he said, pulling out his wallet. As he paid for the sweater, Ms. Reed walked by. She smiled at Leo and Mateo. "That's a nice sweater, Leo." "Thanks, Ms. Reed," Leo said, beaming. "I got a great deal on it. It was originally 100,000 pesos, but I got it for 40,000. Ms. Reed's smile became a bit more thoughtful. "That's interesting. The original price was 100,000 pesos? Leo nodded proudly. "Yes. Can you believe it? I saved 60,000 pesos. Ms. Reed looked at the sweater again. "It's good to be happy with your purchase, Leo. But sometimes, we need to be careful about how we judge value." Mateo, who was still unsure about the sweater, looked curious. "What do you mean, Ms. Reed?" Ms. Reed gestured to the stall with the sweaters. The seller put a high price on the tag, 100,000 pesos. "That price is the first piece of information you saw, Leo. It's what we call an anchor." Leo frowned. "An anchor?" "Yes," Ms. Reed explained. "It's like a weight that holds your thinking in place. Your brain sees that first number, and it uses that number to judge the value of the sweater. Even though the seller lowered the price, you are still thinking about the 100,000 pesos. You are comparing the new price to that high price. So, because I saw 100,000 pesos first, 40,000 pesos seems like a good deal?" Leo asked. "Exactly," Ms. Reed said. "Your brain is saying, wow, this sweater is much cheaper than 100,000 pesos. It must be a good value." But you're not really thinking about the actual cost of the sweater. You're only thinking about the difference between the sale price and the anchor price. Mateo nodded slowly. "I think I understand. So, the seller is using the first price to trick us?" "Not exactly trick us," Ms. Reed said. "It's more like influencing our perception. This is called anchoring bias. It's a common way that our brains make decisions. We rely too much on the first piece of information we receive, even if that information isn't very relevant." She picked up a colorful scarf from a nearby stall. The scarf had a tag that said 50,000 pesos. Let's say I want to buy this scarf, Ms. Reed said. If the seller tells me this scarf was originally 80,000 pesos, now only 50,000 pesos, I might think it's a good deal. But if the seller tells me this scarf is 50,000 pesos, I might think that's too much. The cost of the scarf is the same in both situations, 50,000 pesos, but the anchor changes my idea of its value. Leo looked at his blue sweater. He still liked the color, but now he was starting to wonder if he had made a good decision. So, even if the sweater is worth only 30,000 pesos, I might still buy it because I'm anchored to the 100,000 pesos? That's possible, Ms. Reed said. The anchor makes you focus on the saving rather than the actual cost. You might not even consider if 40,000 pesos is a fair price for that sweater. She pointed to a stall selling fruit. Imagine you want to buy some mangoes. If the first stall you see sells them for 2,000 pesos each, and the next stall sells them for 1,500 pesos each, you might think the second stall is cheaper. But if the first stall sells them for 3,000 pesos each, the second stall might seem like a bargain. Your idea of whether 1,500 pesos is a good price depends on the anchor price you saw first. Leo sighed. I guess I didn't really think about it that way. I was just excited about the discount. Mateo patted Leo on the shoulder. Don't worry, Leo. We all make decisions like that sometimes. The important thing is to learn from it. Ms. Reed smiled. That's right, Mateo. And it's important to remember the difference between value and cost. The cost is the actual amount of money you pay for something. The value is what that thing is worth to you. Sometimes, we let the anchor price trick us into thinking something has more value than it really does. She bought a few lolos from the fruit stall and handed one to Leo and one to Mateo. Enjoy. And remember, when you are shopping, always think about the real cost and the real value. Don't let the first price you see fool you. Leo took a bite of the lolo. It was delicious. He thought about the sweater again. He still liked it, but he realized that he might have been too focused on the discount and not enough on whether 40,000 pesos was a good price for that particular sweater. Thanks, Ms. Reed, Leo said. I will be more careful when I go shopping next time. I need to pay more attention to the cost and value. Mateo nodded in agreement. Me too. I don't want to be tricked by anchor prices. As they walked through the market, Leo looked at the prices of things with new eyes. He tried to ignore their original prices and focus on the actual cost and whether something was really worth that amount of money to him. He was learning to be a smarter shopper, thanks to Ms. Reed's lesson about anchoring bias. He understood that the first price wasn't always the right price, and that true value was about more than just discounts. We hope you enjoyed today's story and that it helped you practice your English listening skills. If you did, please give this video a like. And if you want to hear more stories and lessons to improve your English, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.